2 years ago, Melbourne scholar Dr. Kylie Moore-Gilbert was arrested in Tehran and sentenced to 10 years jail over spying allegations. Well, last Saturday, she was transferred from Iran's most notorious women's prison to an unknown location. Dara Conduit is a friend and colleague of Kylie and joins us now. Dara, I wish I was talking to you under better terms here, but just how difficult has the last 776 days been fighting to free Kylie?
It's been a really stressful 2 and a bit years, really, for everyone around her, all her family, her friends, her colleagues. It's just been a nightmare. What
do you make of this development now, that her exact whereabouts seem to be very much unknown?
This is a really, really concerning development. You know, this is, an international hostage situation, and it appears that the Australian government has lost eyes on the hostage, which is really, really dangerous. So we don't know where they are. We don't know where she is. We're not sure. The Australian government hasn't confirmed that it does or doesn't know her location, but at the moment we're really, really concerned about her.
So you would say that this is a worrying development? There's no element of hope at all that perhaps they're transferring her somewhere else as a good development? You'd only see it as a concern?
So, I mean, the only good development in this case is going to be Kylie landing back in Australia at this point, I think. Perhaps there is something going on. Perhaps DFAT is in the process of negotiating some sort of deal or something like that. But I think we need to put ourselves in Kylie's shoes, and that is that 777 days ago, she was supposed to fly home from a work trip, and she never did. And over the last 777 days, she has been held for nearly 2 years in solitary confinement. She spent the last nearly 3 months in a prison, which is one of the worst women's prison on earth. You know, it's got an enormous COVID outbreak. It's got enormous violence within the prison population. It has, it's unsanitary. It's an absolute disaster. And now she's been moved again. And you can just imagine how unsettling and how terrifying that must be for her. Even if it is a good development, it's not going to feel like a good development for her.
Goodness
until
me,
she gets home.
Not at all. For people who are just tuning into this and Kylie's plight, for example, the spying allegations, tell people what they are.
So Kylie was arrested. She'd been on a work trip to Iran for a conference, and she was arrested as she tried to leave the airport, as she arrived at the airport to come home. And she was subsequently charged with espionage. Now, Kylie's not a spy. Kylie is a researcher, just like me and so many others. But what Kylie walked into, which she didn't realise when she arrived in Iran, was she walked into a dispute between Iran and the Australian government about it, behind closed doors, a dispute that she couldn't know about. And she became a victim of what's called hostage diplomacy. This is something that Iran has done for a long time. It's literally a business model where it wants something from foreign governments, and the best way for it to get that is that it takes foreign nationals, innocent foreign nationals like Kylie, hostage, accuses them of espionage and all sorts of fabricated charges, and holds them long enough until those governments give them what they want.
When was the last thing or time you heard from the Department of Foreign Affairs?
Well, Foreign Affairs spoke last night at Senate estimates about this. They said that she'd received a consular visit on the 19th of October, and that Kylie was well. And again, it's really concerning language coming out of the Foreign Affairs Department, because frankly, you know, I'm really well today, and if you transferred me into the worst women's prison on earth, I wouldn't be well. So it's really, really concerning. And it was a fairly vague response today from the Foreign Minister that we just saw on the screen there too. It looks like they're trying to seek out information. We would only hope they're doing stuff behind the scenes. Dara, the basic message here, if any one of us or all of us can apply pressure, what do we need to do here to have Kylie freed? So there are lots of ways that we can help. You can go to our website, which is www.freekylie.net. But I think right now the most important thing that people can do is call or email their local MPs and senators and tell them we need to find Kylie. She needs to be safe and she needs to come home. This is an Australian citizen who left on a work trip in August 2018, and we haven't seen her since. It's so incredibly unfair that an Australian citizen has been put through this, and we need to leave no stone unturned until she lands back at one of our airports.
She is a diplomatic hostage, and that is not good enough right now. The government needs to step in.
That is not good enough. And this is no way for an Australian citizen to be treated.
Dara Conduit, thank you.
Thank you so much.